I'm doing great.
Good. All right. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. Well, perfect. I guess I don't need video, but if you want to, you can turn it on.
Well,
But
okay, so I'm not opposed to video. This is
okay.
this is my personal quirk, Spencer.
Okay.
I pace when I talk.
Okay.
I walk around. So like video is never very helpful because I'm like walking around
Okay.
when
Yeah,
I
this is totally fine.
yeah, I know. It's so weird. I spend about 70-80% of my day on the phone, and so I have an office. It's a good sized office, and I basically just walk laps, I guess, when I talk. But it helps me. I'm not a sitter downer when I do this. So anyway, because there would be questions and stuff. It's just for some reason my mind works a little bit better while I'm on my feet, and so.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I'm the same way. If I could do it, I'd probably be pacing with you. So yeah, in
Yeah.
fact, my favorite is just going out and going on walks and just talking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
in fact,
it's better for me. I'm not so I actually hate video calls in that no, I don't hate video calls, but I hate them in that it locks you in, right?
yeah,
I feel like I'm not as responsive when I'm when I'm in stationary. I don't know.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, so this is totally fine. Um, are you okay with me recording the voice though?
Yeah. Yep, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, I'm Spencer Hackey. I teach at BYU Idaho. I've been there for 15 years. I also run the Presentation Practice Center on campus, which is a tutoring center for public speaking. And I teach study and life skill classes and communication classes. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Okay.
My I'm doing my sabbatical on just doing this research on trying to find the employability of, well, it's not necessarily BYU Idaho students. It's just like, what is the it factor of people that you want on your team and promote, and getting the right people on the bus and keeping them on the bus. And if anything translate that I can bring into the classroom and into BYU Idaho, I will do that for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, well, I have about 10 questions. I sent you those ahead of time. So if you had any thoughts on those, but I'll just go through them one at a time.
Mhm.
The first is the finding stage. When you think about the best people your company has hired, how were they first discovered and noticed?
Um, the best people that we have hired were discovered and noticed through personal connection.
And
So,
was
um,
that through networking and such?
yeah, I wouldn't say networking in the traditional sense. I would say
Okay.
social networking. Um, yeah, maybe by way of example, we, my partner and I are uh, big BYU football fans,
Okay.
and our best attorney. We we found because he was also a BYU football fan that we would talk football with, and so the personal connections through not like professional networking stuff, but other um, other social networks that we were part of that allowed us to kind of understand who that person was even before there was even a job possibility.
Okay. So just that, s- so that social connection, you know them personally, you want to hang out with them and you want to work with them type thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think so. If I was translating this into to maybe more useful terms, I think a person who was not participating in his or her community would we would never become aware of them, and so the way that in which we we prefer to find people to work with and for us has always been through personal connections. So
Okay.
it's not the only way we've hired people, and we've had great employees from resume job postings that we've made
Sure.
out there. So we have had great employees from those, but our best and most consistently best are people we have uh, someone in our business has known and said this person is a good person and would do a great job here and would fit in well.
Okay. I love that. Um, when it comes to sorting through the other people, other applicants, what makes a person rise to the top before their interview stage?
Um, so maybe this is backwards, but
Okay.
there is a process of elimination. So if we see somebody who has submitted a resume that has mistakes or is poorly worded or just awkward in some way, we
Uh-huh.
immediately trash those. So it allows us to kind of winnow down the pool, the applicant pool. So I know that doesn't directly answer your question, but
Actually, it
the
answers it directly, so you're
yeah,
perfect right on.
yeah. I mean, it is the case that we eliminate so many people because if they can't put a great resume together, then we're not going to be very interested in that person. And so it allows us that when we finally meet them, to evaluate them on other basis. And so they've kind of met that minimum threshold. So
Okay. No, that's spot on. That's kind of what I'm looking for because just attention to details is probably important for most jobs that they're going to go to, right?
right, yeah. If they yeah, if you make it, I know it sounds so harsh, but if you like, let's see the infamous double period at the end of a sentence. I mean, if you have not, if you this resume is 1 page long, and if you can't notice that in your own resume, then that's not going to bode well here for us. That we have work that we can't have something like that. So
Right.
yeah,
Well,
it's probably
especially
not
if you
the
have,
not the person for us.
yeah, because I mean, if you have two resumes that are side by side, they both seem to
Yep.
be equally qualified. It's like, of course,
Right.
you're going to eliminate the one with the double periods or that spelled your
Right.
name wrong or that address it to a different company. And yeah,
Right.
it's just, that makes sense.
Right.
So when it comes to the interview stage, uh, are there any qualities or skills that make someone stand out during the initial hiring process beyond just their resume or formal qualifications?
Yeah, it is the basic good people skills that stands out. So so if someone um obviously it depends on the job that
Right.
there's always going to be a technical component, but honestly, if we are interviewing 3 people, they are all 3 probably going to be technically competent. And then it becomes, which of these people would we like to work with? Right? It becomes a personality contest, honestly. And so people with good social skills are going to be the ones who stand out.
Okay, sorry, I'm just writing some stuff down. Uh, what's the most common reason someone gets hired even when they're multiple qualified candidates?
I think that's it. That they're somebody we would like to work with.
Okay, somebody you like to work with. Are there any warning signs or gaps that makes you hesitant to hire someone even if they appear qualified on paper?
Yeah, I think somebody, on some of our roles here, they lend themselves to applicants who probably don't have a lot of job experience. And I think those are the ones. I don't know that I would call them red flags, but certainly yellow flags. We're like, is this person too young, or they don't have a lot of job experience, or is this somebody who has been out of the workforce for a really long time, or somebody who has a little too much experience, right? Like they they appear to switch jobs every 7 months. So I think those are the things. I don't think that we typically disqualify people for that, but they certainly, they're gonna merit a question in the interview process.
Sure. Well, yeah, and when it comes down to equally qualified people, somebody that jumps around a lot and doesn't seem to keep a hold of job versus
Right.
somebody that seems loyal, just like, okay, we're looking for reasons not to hire in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Uh,
I do have I don't know if this is exactly the same thing, but it is the case that a lot of times when we're ready to interview people, we do take a quick peek at their social media presence, and
okay.
we have disqualified quite a few people um, because we can it just becomes obvious that they are not going to be a good cultural fit here at the firm. So
And well, just let me ask a follow-up question. That was
sure.
it based on stuff that they posted or that they didn't have any history?
No, they disqualified themselves because
Okay.
of things they've either said or pictures they've posted, and sometimes it's just about fit, right? Like
Yeah.
that person's probably not going to have fun with the cast of characters we have here, and sometimes it's like, wow, that person does not seem emotionally stable, and so
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that social media can really tell about a person for sure.
Yeah.
Um, there's always a after the hiring process,
Mhm,
there's kind of a trial stage or initiation stage.
mhm.
After somebody's hired, what qualities, behaviors help them become a strong long-term fit to stay in your workforce?
I think that the thing that to me, but like in that initial phase, there's like one thing that they can do that makes me feel like, oh, this is not going to work out, and one thing they can do that makes me feel like they are going to work out. The thing that makes me feel like they're going to work out is someone who continues to appear motivated as a human. That like for instance, maybe they have finished some tasks and they come back to me and say, hey, I'm done. Is there something else I can do? Something they want to be helpful. Is there something else I can learn? Is there something else I can do to get more experience? And just this appearance of motivation, and that usually bodes well for us. They're gonna um, continue to grow and develop in their role, and
Um,
and yeah. So
I love that. So I've got a follow-up question with that motivation. Have you found that, uh, well, it's really about motivation. What kind of qualities or skills of those that can stay self-motivated? What do they possess that helps them to do that? Do you know?
curiosity, I think. Like
Okay.
I think curiosity is probably the main one, and the one we find most useful. Also, the personality defect of obsessive compulsive disorder. We love that. Those people are wonderful in our job. So it's not a defect; it is a feature, and they that compels them to keep doing things because they're going to be worried that they've done something wrong or that they're not doing enough, and it produces the same result in terms of business operations.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because I teach motivation in my life skills class,
Mhm.
and that's a hard one because when you've got two things that you want to do and one thing that you're supposed to do, they always go to the wants before the
Yeah,
supposed to. So I'm always curious about that, and so I love that curiosity. Um,
yeah.
what skills or characteristics separate an employee who simply just performs their job from those that become strong candidates for promotion?
I think that, um, and I'm not sure I have a great way to describe this other than thoroughness. Um, the people who work here, who are doing a job. Most of the jobs that we have here can be done, um, good, better, best, right? So most people are doing a good job. They're doing enough to not get fired, and that's fine. That's okay. But the people who end up impressing and moving up, they are the ones who are doing a better job, not from a technical skills perspective, but from a completeness perspective. They are, there's more follow up. There's more communication involved in the project. There is more attention to detail in the notes um, and whatever they're doing. It's just they're just doing a better job, and I think thoroughness is they're just being more thorough about it and making sure that things haven't fallen through the cracks, things like that. So
Well, that's great. Um, all right, so let's talk about promotional stage since we've kind of hinted on it.
mhm.
Are there any qualities, behaviors, or skill gaps that prevent people from being promoted when they are technically good at their job?
Yeah, if they um I th- the feature of and I'm probably going to cancel myself or get myself canceled by using this example, but um, we have yeah, so there are people who complain, right? And in that in an environment where there's multiple people, it is in some ways a tribe, and there are tribes within tribes, and there are people who will draw negativity and draw others into their negativity. And sometimes it's just personal stuff about another employee. Sometimes it's about the processes here. They're complaining this. They're not addressing it with management and saying, "Hey, I think we could do this better." They're instead saying, "I can't believe we do this way," or there's another employee and like, "I can't believe she does this way." There is there we have had plenty of employees who are technically uh, competent and sometimes even technically gifted, but they brought negativity, like tribal negativity to the workplace, and we just had to get rid of them. So, and then they were surprised because they're like, "Hey, I'm good at my job." I'm like, "That's fine, but you're not good
Yeah,
for us." So, and had to let them go.
that's interesting. And I like that phrase, tribal negativity, because and it's unfortunate because if they use that same leadership to
Yep.
to be
Right.
positive, they could excel, but they're using it to actually try create a group that brings the whole company down.
Yeah.
Uh, so we so just a quick follow up with that. So would you say that the complainers, the victim mentality mindset, affects hiring and promotion decisions?
Yeah, and yeah, on the flip side of that, people who can manage and sometimes diffuse uh, negativity, those are the ones we like and promote.
I love that.
So, and
Um,
it's
all
it's
right.
it's not just it's yeah, and it's not, maybe to clarify, I'm not saying that we just promote the cheerleader, because I think that that would be an easy thing for a manager to do. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are people who, um, even if they're not a cheerleader, they at least know how to manage the people who are negative, and or the situations that become negative. They are good at diffusing
Yeah.
the negativity and just provide a calming environment here. at the office, and those are the people we want, because there is a lot of stress that happens, and
Yeah.
new things happen every day. So we need people who are able to, hey, let's keep this keep this under control and move on.
No, there is a sense of emotional intelligence of people that are able to diffuse situations like that, uh, that negativity. And so, yeah, I totally, I think that's a great aspect of your promotionability there. Um, I actually have two more questions for you.
Mhm.
When you think about the people who are most successful in your organization or industry, what
Mhm.
qualities, characteristics, or skills do they consistently demonstrate?
I think that, well, the one that I just said, which is this ability to remain stable under stress and pressure, and particularly for us in the in front of clients, I think that emotional stability is a huge attribute. Also, um, talking. We talk all the time to people, so their ability to communicate, verbal communication, is like fundamentally required here. Is a threshold. Somebody, it can't just be okay at talking; they have to be good at talking. And so,
Yeah.
and the people who are best at talking and remaining emotionally stable under stress, those are the ones who are the best here. So
Of that.
I mean, I can't imagine though that's exclusive to our company, right? So like,
No, and it's
uh,
not. In fact,
yeah.
um, you've touched on a lot of things because you're my, I think, 19th interview,
Oh wow.
and
Yeah.
I can't believe the themes that are already coming out. And one of
Mhm.
those is the stability under stress and communication, like being able to talk through things and
Right.
share ideas and share a story. So
Right.
you're spot on with what you're
Right.
saying.
And and if I got more specific, I would say being able to talk on your feet. Right. There are people who, both employees and people I interface with, they're good when they have the opportunity to prepare. They do a great job. They're thorough in their preparation, and they come prepared to have a good conversation, and they're perfectly normal. But the people who are most excellent in our job are the people who are able to do that without any preparation, not because they haven't prepared, but because the nature of what we do, you get surprised all the time. And the people who can handle that well on their feet and be quick about it, those are the ones who are most successful.
Yeah, right. And let me just ask a question about that because this is almost like a soundbite I want to have for my professional presentations class. Because I talk about this spontaneity and we
Mhm.
call it an impromptu speech.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of times I tell them you don't give an impromptu speech, you just don't have preparation for what you're going to say. But it's not like you're not prepared. Like, for example, if you came up and your boss or they asked you to spur of the moment say, hey, give me an update on this and that,
Mhm.
it's not like you have to be like, all right, I'll come back in a half an hour with my 3 points or anything.
Yeah.
It's you share what you know in a very articulate way. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I think that so because we have conversations, so once a week we have like we call it notes session, but we talk about, because like I said, 70-80% of our day is on the phone, sometimes with pretty hostile people, sometimes with our own clients, and there are skills that you have to develop in order to do what we do. And so we actually talk about this all the time, once a week. And um, there are, I think, two dimensions to this. I think you have to be, obviously, the more you know about whatever subject matter we're talking about, then you are going to be more comfortable, right? And that seems obvious. So we try to be subject matter experts at what we do because we feel that there's almost nothing that someone could ask us that we don't know the answer to. That doesn't mean we're going to say it poetically or eloquently, but we're never going to feel caught off guard because we feel so sharp in what we do. And then the other side of that is, well, how do we get that technical knowledge to sound poetic and eloquent? And those what's funny is that we think about this in terms of spontaneity, but it's not. We use these structures of speech and in um, these patterns of response. We use them all the time. We repeatedly we understand how to engage spontaneous in spontaneous manner. Uh, but these conversations sound the same every day, all week, all month. So there are these skills that you can acquire so that you can be uh, more on your feet in impromptu settings. In a way, there's no such thing to us anyway in what we do in our domain. There's no such thing as impromptu. It's we have very much prepared to
Yeah,
be on our feet when we're speaking.
I love that.
Just
Yeah, those
like
two
we train
dimensions.
ourselves. Yeah, we train ourselves on these devices all the time, so we're always ready for it.
How do you train yourself? Is it
So we'll usually will like in our note sessions we'll bring up a topic, and so maybe it's about um, responding to a hostile question, or even though the question, what do you do if you don't know the answer? How do you respond? And we try to
uh-huh.
dissect that. Well, how long can you pause? What's a filler response to buy yourself time for your brain to operate, to come back with a more substantive response? So these are the things we'll usually tackle one at a time, and just talk about it. And usually we call it note sessions because we're comparing notes. Say, hey, how do you do this? Well, I do this, and this is something that happened. This is how I responded. Um, how we talk about. I mean, even things like storytelling. Like, how do we tell stories?
Yeah,
How do we communicate pricing? How do we do these things? Not as like tactics. Like, I think like when we think of salesmanship, we think of like, hey, these are these sales tactics we use. It's not. But I mean, these are devices. Like, how do I, um, what are some tools in my verbal arsenal to be able
yeah,
to respond to people? So it's part psychology and is part human experience. I think if I were to say, it's mostly about applied psychology, right? I think
yeah.
that's ultimately what this is, and so we're trying to understand applied psychology as best we can, so that we are prepared to employ the technical skills the best we can.
Interesting. Just on a side note, this would be an interesting training, uh, and maybe we'll have to talk later because I would almost love to have you come up and demonstrate and train my tutors and my
Mhm.
classes on how to do that because I personally feel that's so important to be able to uh, do that, telling your story, spontaneity, a process. So
Yeah,
if you're interested,
yeah.
love to have you
Well,
come up if you while you're under.
and I'm in Rexburg not too infrequently. Uh, my son is a student there, so
Is that right? Okay.
yeah.
Well,
So
maybe
and
we do it as soon as fall semester.
my daughter was a student before that, and so yeah, just we've got 5 kids, and so I'm just trickling them through. So
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be in touch with that because that's something I'd be very interested to do as
yeah,
training to do with my tutors. Okay. I do have one more question for you.
sure.
If you were to advise your 17-year-old self who wants to be hired, succeed, and eventually be promoted up the chain, what would you tell yourself to develop first and why?
Oh, so I mean, everything that we've just talked about is
Okay.
exactly what I'd say. The spontaneity. But I actually thought about this a lot, and the answer is confidence.
Okay.
It's impossible to tell someone have confidence, right? Um, because what is it? How do you acquire it? Whatever. And we've talked. I think the last question. In what I do, confidence is again substantive expertise and um, rhetorical expertise, and so, um, but in if I were talking to my younger self, I think that when I step away from your questions and I think about just in general, what are the things that if I had to just be gross about it and say which are the good employees and which are the not good employees, like what's the difference there? It's a confidence about their ability to do something. So you can have two employees that have the exact same technical capabilities. One employee will have the confidence that they can get something done, even if they can't. Right? They're like, "Oh, I can figure that out. Give me a second, and I'll work on it." And the other employee will say, "Man, I don't know. I'm not sure
Right.
about that. You might need to talk to someone else about that." That's it. That is what makes a good employee versus a bad employee. It's that simple thing. And the bad employees, if you do that enough time, we're going to say, do we really need this employee? And the good employee who continues to stretch themselves because they have the confidence they're going to figure it out, they actually do acquire the skills and the knowledge that they need
Yeah.
to to move on up. And I if I could talk to my 17-year-old self, I would try to communicate this idea. Hey, have confidence that you can figure something out and go figure it out, because eventually when you stack that up year after year after year, you do have more technical capabilities, more substantive knowledge. So that's what I convey.
Oh, that's awesome. I especially like that. You have the confidence that you can figure this out.
Yeah.
That's
They-
awesome.
that is ever since you sent that list, I've thought about this and I'm like, yeah, that is the difference between our successful employees and our not successful employees. So
No, thanks.
that
Right
simple
there.
thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, Joe,
and it's
thank you.
certainly, yeah, certainly not the confidence of, like you walk in the room like, oh man, that's a confident dude. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's this belief in yourself. I'm confident that I can figure something out or I can get something done. And somebody else is like, man, I don't know if I can do that. Same exact skill set, and one is going to traject up and one falls down. So yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Now, this stuff is good stuff. Um, my plan is to take these recordings and analyze them using AI and stuff, using that
Mhm,
capability, but coming out with the themes that everybody's coming up with.
mhm.
And um, you kind of touched on a lot of things that are already. My goal is to interview 100 people,
Oh,
and you're the
yeah,
20th right there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's already themes that are popping up. So I
Wow.
appreciate what you've done
Well, good. Yeah. Well,
to
good
help me
luck
out.
on the next 80. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. In fact, maybe you could help me out with that as well. If you feel there's somebody that kind of has a niche in this
mhm,
research that
mhm,
I could reach out to, kind of like Chris did with you,
mhm.
uh, that uh, that I can reach out to and find out if I can meet with them and just have this 30-minute interview, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Well,
But
yeah. Well,
but
let
I'll
me think
send
about
you
it.
an email
Yeah.
and ask for those so you don't have to come up with them right now.
Mhm. Sure.
Perfect. All right. Do you have any questions for me? I kind
No,
of
no, no. I don't think so.
had it loaded on you.
No, I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Well, perfect, Joe. It's good to meet you. And I hope to actually work with you in the future as you come and visit your son. give you a reason to do that.
Well, we'll definitely be there in November because my son is having a baby. Who his wife is, and so we'll be in town for a minute.
Okay. Well, if you drop me a note and you want to come in a day early, I'll carve out some time to come to my classes or do a little workshop with you.
Sure, I'd love that. I appreciate it, Spencer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Joe, and have a great day. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, and also thanks for being flexible with.
Well, no problem. And thanks for being flexible with my quirk of pacing. I've put in some good steps in this conversation, so I appreciate it.
You know, I did not notice. I don't know why.
Yeah. So,
all right.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot.
Get your 15,000 steps in for today.
That's actually about what I do. Just so you know. Like I probably put on, people are like, I got to get to 10,000. I mean, I get to 10,000 steps by lunch. So
that's funny.
But anyway, all right. I'll let you go. So
okay, thanks, Joe.
All right, bye.